on adventure, just the two of us. It hasn't been just the two of us since, God, I think October or November, where me and him went on our last road trip, just Charles and I. This will be our first time, though, going on a road trip with just Charles and I in the States. We are heading to Hocking Hills State Park on the recommendation of somebody who made a comment on one of my videos, said I should check out Old Man's Cave. So I listened, and I'm going to go check out Old Man's Cave. So Charles and I will be on the road for 4 nights. We have 1 night at Sterling State Park in Michigan, 2 nights in Hocking Hills, and 1 night in another state park in Michigan. I forget what it's called. I'll let you guys know about that later. I did something different in the back for my sleeping setup. You might be able to see a little bit. You see the 3rd row is up, but I'll show you guys more about that when we get to Sterling State Park. But for now, let's head across the border. Okay, so we crossed the border. That took like 5 minutes. There was barely any line, and the only question he asked me is where I was going. And I said Ohio for camping, and he was like, okay. Sometimes if you are traveling with dogs, they will ask you for their rabies vaccination records. So I always make sure I have Charles's in the glove box just in case they do ask, but they didn't ask today. So now next stop for Charles and I is I put in a grocery order to be picked up at Walmart because I needed to get groceries, but I knew I would be leaving midday, and there's no way that I'm going to leave Charles in the van while I do groceries in the heat, because obviously that's just not good for dogs. So I put in the grocery order for me to just pick it up. So we're going to go do that. And then I think we're going to go to Gaylord and see how they're doing with their cleanup after their tornado a couple days ago. And I'll probably get gas and stuff in Gaylord. Okay, we're just sitting at Walmart waiting for them to bring our order out. I got the Charles with me. Right, Charles? You ready to get on the road? He saw me packing up, and he got so worried because last few times, obviously, I packed up. I left without him. So he wouldn't even let me go out the door without him trying to bolt out the door. But then when he realized he was coming, he was very excited. So for some reason, I had it in my head that today's date, which is May 23rd, Monday, May 23rd, was a holiday for you guys here in the US, because at home, for us, we call it May 24 weekend, which is just the long weekend that we have Victoria Day on, so we call it May 24 weekend. And for some reason, I thought that your guys' Memorial Day was the same day as our Victoria weekend, but apparently it's not, which is good because I had some packages to pick up here in Sioux, Michigan. Like I told you guys before, I live in a border town, and sometimes not sometimes, but most of the time, it is a lot cheaper to have things shipped to Michigan than to where I live in Ontario. So there's a business in Sioux, Michigan called Pack and Ship, which is where I have my packages shipped to. And I thought it would be closed today because I thought it was a holiday for you guys. But I got over here and was pleasantly surprised to see that it was open. And I was able to pick up my packages, which now I'll be able to use on this trip, which excites me. So that's a good thing. So apparently your guys' Memorial Day is the weekend after our May 24 weekend. It's good to know. So we're just coming up on Gaylord now. Even just heading towards the exits, you can see a lot of downed trees and branches. Back there was a billboard that was completely sideways. It's really sad to see. I heard that there was pretty big devastation at the RV dealership here. Well, you can see right there in front of me, there's all the damage that happened at the dealership. Oh my God. It looks like almost all their inventory was destroyed. These buildings seem to be untouched, but that RV dealership, did they ever get hit? It's amazing how selective tornadoes can be. That poor dealership, the roof is missing, their inventory is destroyed, but all the buildings around it almost seem untouched. Oh wow, the Aldi's roof is completely missing. Oh, look at the devastation here. That used to be a Maurice's clothing store, the Goodwill. Yeah, that was where Maurice's should have been, I think. Like I said, this tornado hit in the middle of the afternoon when everybody was out and about. Gaylord, Michigan is not used to getting tornadoes. They don't have an early warning alarm. Everybody was just caught by surprise. Obviously, my thoughts are with the families of the people who died in that tornado and the people who were injured and have to completely rebuild everything. It's so sad to see this. We don't get this around here, obviously, if you can tell. We don't get tornadoes and devastating weather like that, where it's not something that we're used to seeing. So when it does happen, it's horrible. Obviously, it's horrible when it happens everywhere else, but these people were completely caught off guard. So now we're going to go through Gaylord because we needed to come through Gaylord to get to Highway 32 to make our way to the state park. I think I'm going to stop in, get some lunch, and then we'll hit the highway again. Alrighty, so we're stopped outside a rest stop, and I think we're close to Bay City, Michigan. I like to do the like 2.5 hour rule where I drive for 2.5 hours, and then I make sure to get up and walk around, especially when I have Charles. So we're just going for a quick walk, enjoying some nature. They do have dumpsters here, so I'm going to get rid of some garbage, and then we'll hit the road again. Alright guys, made it to my campground. Like I said, I'm staying at Sterling State Park, just on a walk with Charles here. Sterling sits between, it's almost like it's an island itself. It sits on the shores of Lake Erie, and then it's like nestled in between a couple of marshes. And I don't know if you can hear it, but there are so many birds here. All I can hear are bird noises.
Take the next right, then
the
slide right.
trees are in bloom. Charles and I are taking a walk down to the marsh. Look at how pretty this is. We saw a whole bunch of bunnies as we were driving up to the campground. Come on, Charles. And apparently this place is big for fishing, like in these marshes, because we saw a ton of people fishing. The sites aren't the sites are not very private at this campground. It's all very open. And they're not the biggest sites, but it's still a nice campground. So Charles and I are going to finish our walk, and then I think I'm going to go back to the campsite and cook up some supper. Okay, so I'm making supper. I'm still fighting the whole cooking with butane thing. And it's kind of a good thing because it's pretty windy here. I'm right on the water. Electric skillet to boil some milk and water. I'm going to have this Sidekick's creamy bacon carbonara, and I'm going to pair it with some sausages that I brought from home that were left over from supper last night. So, easy supper. I got a beautiful sunset in front of me, the sound of the waves behind me. The park is not very full. I thought it would be fuller because, again, I thought this was the American long weekend, not realizing that it's next weekend. But that's okay with me. So we're only staying here for one night, and then it's off to Hocking Hills tomorrow. So I'll see you guys after supper. Charles, are you waiting for supper? He's trying to chase all the birds because there's so many birds here. I would never let him catch one, but it's fun to watch him try. Okay, supper is all heated up. I'm actually warming up my sausages in my pasta, letting them absorb a little bit of that flavor. So I'm going to sit here, I'm going to have supper, I'm probably going to edit a little bit, and I'll see you guys in the morning.